Gone. I thought we were starting.
This podcast is brought to you by nobody. The Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast is an autonomous podcast right now. We are currently not sponsored by anybody, but that doesn't mean that we don't love you very much. And I want to thank each and every one of you that has contributed over the past couple of weeks. You guys are great. You help make sure this podcast continues to run the way that we want it to, and it means a lot to us, and we love you for it, and we enjoy doing this every week to help make your anime addictions worse. And if you want to help out the podcast, you can head over to our Patreon page or over to our website. Of course, it's aapodcast.com. Along the top, there's a section you can join the show, or you can just go to aapodcast.com/join to help us out. And when you do so, you're going to get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and so much more over there. 8 exclusive podcast episodes every month for you to enjoy. There's also a donate button now on top of the website. If you want to just donate a couple bucks, we appreciate it very much. But if not, if you have no bucks to throw our way, that is totally fine as well. We still love you, and we'll enjoy making your anime addiction worse anyway. And now, on with the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 542 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Can't wait till we get to 550. I have no idea why, but I just think it's a great number. Guys, wherever you're listening from, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, whether you are cutting the grass, whether you're scuba diving, maybe you're swimming laps in the pool, weightlifting, playing video games, or doing the dishes, thanks for making us a part of your day. I'm happy to be here with all of you. I am Mitsugi in the flesh, and I am joined by Mandi.
Hi, hello. I'm happy to be here. I think it's funny that scuba diving came before, like, doing dishes and video games. You know, perfectly normal thing people do on the weekends.
Practical applications.
You never know.
You can do with your headphones in.
And we also have...
They're just so darn loud. I just gotta drown them out.
We also have the unflappable Mason. He's here. He's Spicy Boy Mason.
How's it going,
How are
everyone?
you?
I'm having a bit of a rough day. You know, I lost my favorite disc golfing, just bumping my head on all sorts of things. But you know what? Glad to be with you guys and talk about some anime.
And of course, we are here to make your anime addiction worse as I sip on an orange monster. Oh, it's so good. Guys,
we need to SFX the sound of you opening that up, because I know our listeners are upset that they missed that crisp opening.
The orange one's really good. Guys, it was brought to my attention by myself that the chair I was using the last, has gotten pretty squeaky, so I have abandoned the chair. So I am now in a chair that does not move at all, so there will be no more squeaking. Guys, if you head over to our website, aapodcast.com/join, you can create an account. You can get our hentai episodes. Ooh, all the naughty. So much naughty. So much, the squishing. It's the hentai episodes. Oh my God, boobies. And if you want to get our hobby addicts, we will talk about video games until you are tired of hearing us talk about video games. Mandy just talked about Hades. Mason talked about Ghost of Tsushima. And I have been talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. And we talked about some of the PlayStation 5 revealed details that came out this week, so you get that over at our Hobby Addicts. And also the after parties, where I am going to be discussing all kinds of things, including after the show today. I will talk about how a madman hung up my projector screen. He nearly died. I was frightened for everything. I nearly peed. So if you want to get all that, go over to aapodcast.com/join. Guys, social media, so important. We're over at Twitch. Thanks to everybody watching live, twitch.tv/AAA podcast, live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Be there, be square. You don't want to be missing out on all the visuals as I hold up my Hibito from a Space Brothers figure for some, just because he's orange like the monster I'm drinking. See, they're both orange. It's fantastic. He's wearing an orange spacesuit. We're over at Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook. Of course, we're on Twitter and Discord. Guys, what is going on the Discord?
Oh, so much. First things first, I know this is a late notice, but on September 25th at 10 p.m. EDT, we're going to be doing a watch party of the movie Survive Style 5, which was, I guess I'll throw Mandi under the bus, her idea. So all credit or blame goes to her, but from what little I have seen of it, it will be a wild ride. So if you're in the mood for that, come by September 25th. It's a Friday.
Baby, come, baby.
Oh!
Check it out.
Come, baby, come. You'll understand once you.
You'll get it. Maybe bring an adult beverage if you're feeling so bold, and we'll also announce the next watch party at that time. Also, on October 31st, you might have heard of it. It's a little thing called Halloween.
Oh!
We have a deadline approaching, and that deadline is for you to win fabulous prizes. And the way you do that is by, once again, we were having our pumpkin carving contest. So submit your best anime-inspired pumpkins. You can submit pictures through Discord, through Facebook, through Twitter. You can find our P.O. boxes and mail your pumpkin to us physically for us to judge. No matter how you do it, send it our way, and we will take a look at the best of them and reward the winners with some sort of goodies.
Do it!
They don't know that. It's P.O. It's pumpkin box, right? That's what it stands for?
Pumpkin. There's no O in pumpkin, but sure.
It's pumpkin.
It could be like opossum. It could have an O in the front.
It's like a pterodactyl. There's
a
T's
reverse
all over
possum.
the place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we also decided they can paint pumpkins too. Did we decide on that?
Kabocha.
Yeah, I'd say any sort of artistic endeavor that merges pumpkins and anime in whichever way your crazy mind wants to put together is fair game. So go for it and submit them. You've got just over a month to do it, so we'd like to see them.
I want to drop a cultural note. Someone in the chat said Kabocha. They're Maverick of Veltal, who's been listening for a long time. Welcome to the Twitch. So a Kabocha is actually not a pumpkin. So a Kabocha it's almost impossible to find a real pumpkin in Japan. I only found one ever once, and I bought it for like $50 out of a storefront window. It was just there for decoration. A Kabocha is a little weird green pumpkin. So if you ever see like a tiny little green one, that's a Kabocha. And they are not as pretty to look at, but they make much better pies. So although you can make a pie out of a regular orange pumpkin, it just isn't as good. So I think pumpkin.
Are you telling me pumpkin pies are the inferior version?
I'm telling you that if you eat a pumpkin pie, like with pumpkin pie filling from like Kroger, it's probably not an orange pumpkin.
Okay,
I think it's probably a green one. But I think if you just want to if you want to say an orange pumpkin in Japanese, I think it's simply pampukin. I think there's no Japanese word for it. So that's just a weird cultural note.
Gotcha. Not to be confused with kombucha, which is a completely different sort of thing.
Yes.
But regardless, moving on, we also have our anime club, which will be September 23rd. So you still have time to attend that if you're watching live. We're discussing the movie Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Oh my god.
Adolescence of Utena, which you don't need to know anything about Utena going into it. I watched it last night. I think I was simultaneously more and less confused by knowing the series beforehand. So I'm interested to see what all of you think, but you can join us at 10 p.m. EDT on Wednesday, and you can watch this movie over on Funimation.
Just do it!
We also have my manga club, which will be on September 30th, and we'll be discussing the first 2 volumes of Spy Family, which would be a lot of fun because it's a really cute series. So you should come join us on the Discord, and if you go down to the manga club channel there, you can find the time, which is 10 p.m. EDT on that Wednesday, September 30th, and the chapters that you need to read, and it'll be just a very laid-back discussion. Don't even have to talk, so come join us.
All right, guys. In this podcast, we're going to do Choose Your Own Topic. So that's where we each pick a topic. Honestly, I was thinking about this today. I was like, one of the most inside behind the curtain thing. One of the hardest things on this podcast after this long is coming up with good topics. It's always hard. The hentai episodes, it's like impossible. Like it's literally impossible to come up with hentai episode topics. But and so every time we do choose your own topic, everybody comes up with a great topic, and I'm like, no, this would be so good on its own episode. But alas,
and we waste all 3 of them on one episode.
alas, our brain power is wasted. So
To be fair, we usually do lists.
True.
True.
But they're fun nonetheless.
Yeah, so some of these are really good. So I said come up with an anime themed cafe and give your top 3 dishes. So you have to pick an anime and come up with 3 dishes. Mandi came up with a great one. I love it. So it's like a loot drop anime loot table. So we're gonna give if we were bosses in an MMO and we were to be slain mercilessly by Mandi, what drops would we give? So we gave our trash, regular, rare, and epic drops of like anime stuff that we have. And then Mason has a topic about discussing how we manage to display our fandoms in real life without making it overly obvious. So it's kind of like subtle ways to show that we show our fandoms. So I thought these were all really great topics. So we're going to do that. And then, of course, the review of Kakushigoto. So we're going to do a review on that. So without further ado, I think we have nothing else to discuss. I would say that there was really not a lot of big news this week, but there were a shitload of new anime announced. So rather than do big news, we're just going to jump straight into new releases.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
First up, the Sword Art Online progressive light novel will be getting an anime adaptation. This was revealed in the 11th and final episode of the recently airing Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld. And, I think a lot of people are excited for this. The progressive light novels are a new version of the Sword Art Online tale that starts at the beginning of Kirito's journey in Aincrad. Kawahara wrote, obviously, the original, went back and started doing these side stories back in 2012, kind of retelling and expanding the original series, the arc, the lore, all the characters behind it. And the latest novel within that series came out in May of 2018. So I'm not honestly too on the pulse of the SAO community, but I think a lot of the people who have been much bigger fans of the progressive series than the original. So I have to imagine a lot of people are hyped. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I have a thought, and that's pretty rare because I don't have many of them. But I just want to say that I don't know shit about Sword Art Online, but I want to know things because knowing things is good. And I'm wondering if Sword Art Online Progressive is a good second starting point for fans. If I can it's like, oh, I missed out on Sword Art Online Season 1 like 100 years ago, and there's been 5 seasons since then of just random different things. But now that this one's coming out, is this basically the start again? Can I just, is it like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood sort of? Can I just rewatch it from this point? Does anybody know?
With no knowledge going in, I'm going to say yes, definitively. I would assume so.
Somebody in the
What was
chat.
the one with the new girl?
Was that Gun Gale?
Gun Gale Online?
No. Was it?
Well, there's
I don't think so.
Alicization.
I think Gun Gale was just the second season.
Yeah, it was the one that we did a review of it. I think it was me, Enzo, and Kazuo that reviewed it with the new girl.
There was Sword Art Online.
Sorry, I was gonna say, but it is based on the Gun Gale part of that game, though.
Okay.
But I can't remember the main character's name.
If this is a good place for newbies to start, I will watch it probably, because I want to know things, because it's good to know. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anything else?
Nope, not on Sword
Not
Art.
on
If I can find out what the name of that is, I'll mention it. But the next one is for the anime adaptation of the manga Horimiya. So this is also announced for winter of 2021. And Horimiya is a manga that it was our very first manga club.
Oh wow!
And it was also one of my first manga minutes as well. So we've discussed it a long time ago, and it was received pretty well among our fans and also just the manga community in general. seems to really love this series. And Horimiya is a shonen love romance rom-com, and it's really cute. And I think the story is about a couple, Miyamura, who is comes off at school as kind of like a nerd, but secretly he's like hiding a bunch of tattoos and piercings. But he's still like a sweetheart, but he's definitely a lot different than what everybody expects. And Hori's kind of the same way, except she's really prim and proper at school, but at home she's like your typical like homekeeper, kind of like she just works a lot, and I think she just likes to hide that. I don't know why. Something I never understood. Why would you be ashamed of doing chores like a normal person? Never understood that part. But I think why this series is so popular is because it's not like a will they won't they. It's the whole series is about their relationship developing. It ends up going into a more mature direction than what I think a lot of people expect out of a shonen rom-com. But yeah, so they announced it in they announced it in the October issue of G Fantasy announced it.
Oh.
And the manga started back in 2007.
Sounds like a porn magazine. I'm not gonna lie.
G Fantasy?
It absolutely does. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Woo!
So that'll be out in so soon. I didn't expect it to be like announced and come out so soon. Only like one season away, which is really weird. Normally, I feel like when something gets announced, it's like it takes like a year to come out. So it was really weird. I was like, oh, winter season. I could put that on my picks. Cool. So looking forward to that.
Nice. Next up is Legend of the Galactic.
Oh boy.
The new thesis sequel in production. If you guys have not got on board this train yet, you better do so quick, because we're just going to keep on ramming it down your throats. This is a sequel to the remade version of that was done by Production IG. That came 24 episodes. First aired in spring of 2018. The second season was split amongst 3 movies. Each had 4 episodes each. So cumulatively, there are 24 episodes that are out. This sequel is to be another 24, spanning from episodes 25 through 48. So more Legend of the Galactic Heroes, always a great thing. That this remade version can be found on Crunchyroll and Funimation, and this is all an adaptation of the 110 episode OVA that aired in like the late 80s to the late 90s, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest space operas of all time in any medium, and you should check it out. And I'm super hyped that we're getting more of it, and more of a reason to get a complete story twice. So I guess it's kind of like Brotherhood, or maybe even SAO Progressive, where they're kind of just remaking an established franchise, but I don't mind because it's good.
Evan.
Or Yang Wen Lee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Yang Wen-Lee is pretty great. He's definitely better than that other guy whose name I can't even remember.
Who
Wow.
the fuck is that blonde-haired guy?
Wow.
He doesn't even matter. He's like, not even important to the story.
I bet you guys even use sneaky tactics when you play Ghost of Tsushima, you cowards.
Hell yeah.
Sigh. Anyway,
I
check
don't
it out.
attack anybody up front. I will kill them from a mile away.
The a very important question. So is this the 3rd season of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, basically?
Technically, yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're not covering it?
I don't think there's any reason to.
I think we
honestly.
should. Fuck that.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I think it's going to get the exact same scores from all the other seasons and be great, and you should
But
watch
we
it.
can talk about it.
Oh, we're definitely talking about it, but we're not. I don't think we're going to give it a full review.
I'll give it a review.
Oh my gosh. I need like
This is the only way this podcast is ever going to cover all of Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
I need like a bell drop of like, so we can. Oh man, I need like a fight drop. We need like a bell from like the.
We had one.
I mean, it was
Did
the
I?
exact. You could just repurpose the anime arguments drop.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
The Sword Art Online I was thinking of was alternative. It is Gun Gale Online, so that was it with the little pink girl.
You're right. There is a bell ringing noise in that drop. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that
There you
drop's
go.
no longer on the soundboard, so I can't play it. Sorry.
Here's how the fight would go between Mandi and I. Wow, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is really good. Yeah, I agree. It really is. Oh, okay, fight's over. Here's my fight.
There. The court has spoken. All right. Well, this next one, Mandy, are you excited?
I am. I'm super excited. I was smiling nonstop when I read the news last week. So, Natsume Yujincho is getting another movie. And the first movie, Ephemeral Bond, Mason and I actually watched it at Crunchyroll Expo a couple years ago. And we got cute little bookmarks for attending, and it was
I'm gonna go get
great.
mine. I'm gonna go get mine.
So Natsume Yujincho is getting its second movie. It is scheduled to come out early spring of next year. And the title, it's going to be following two different stories. It's called The Waking Rock and the Strange Visitor. And don't quote me on this, but I believe both of these are already in the manga. I am caught up current with the manga, and when I was reading the synopsis for these, I feel like I've already read them, so I think they're already in there. But all of the cast is returning, and Aniplex will be distributing it. And the movie will consist of the Waking Rock, or Ishi Okoshi, where Natsume meets a small yokai called Mitsumi in a forest, and Mitsumi is entrusted to wake up the divine yokai Iwatetsu from its deep slumber. So Mitsumi weighs on Natsume's mind, so he sets out to help Mitsumi with his task. In the second story, Ayakashi Raihosha, or The Strange Visitor, is about a mysterious visitor appears in front of Tanama, who is Natsume's best friend. And nearly every day, the visitor visits Tanama, talks to him a little, and then leaves. Natsume, who knows the visitor is a yokai, worries for Tanama, but Tanama enjoys these exchanges with the yokai. And the yokai doesn't mean him any harm, but Tanama's health is slowly deteriorating. So those will be out next year, and I'm excited. And I hope we get some way to watch it before I have to spend like $100 on an Aniplex movie. Aniplex, stop! You're too expensive. I can't afford you.
Someone noticed
all
that
their stuff is that way.
apparently I have Mandy's and my labels mixed up on Twitch. So that's pretty funny. Mandy, you are now me today. How does it feel to be a middle-aged bald man?
I thought I was you the whole time. I grew hair,
Whoa.
and I love Moe now.
Truly the character arc that we've all been waiting
And I
for.
love her.
Oh, no!
Anything but the moe. Maybe I did it on purpose. Those of you watching live, you never know. Guys,
We're just making sure you're watching.
This is some poor sap's first time watching us live, and he's like, "Man, I really wonder what they look like." And he's like, "I guess I have to believe the labels," and their whole perception has changed.
This Mandy person's a real asshole. All right, so Nintendo has confirmed that a new Super Mario Brothers film is in the creation for 2022, and I rather like Super Mario, so it's a me. We're gonna have so much lasagna and so much. For some reason, every time I think of Mario's voice and Mario sound effects, I always go back to Nintendo 64's Mario 64 when he's like sleeping and he's dreaming about lasagna.
Aw.
Whoa!
I was about to ask,
spaghetti.
I'm pretty weak on my Mario lore, but I knew nothing about this lasagna legacy.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He's
He's Italian.
He's like, oh, mamma mia. He's sleeping. If you just leave the controller sitting for a while, he'll just like fall asleep and talk in his sleep. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny. So their new Nintendo film is confirmed. I was excited. I thought it was going to be a live action though, and I'm kind of bummed out because it doesn't sound like it is. It's going to be an animated film, which I'm like, oh god, I wanted another like John Leguizamo train wreck.
I know, right?
Oh gosh, but either way, so excited. Universal Studios, their subsidiary Illumination Entertainment has already been working on the film, so it's already in the works. I guess they have funding from Nintendo and Universal Pictures itself to make this possible. The founder of Illumination, Mela Dondre, I apologize if I mispronounced that, is co-producing the film with Shigeru Miyamoto himself, the creator of Super Mario Brothers. So that's pretty exciting. And Mela Dondre says of Miyamoto that he is, quote, front and center in the creation of the film, and noted that, quote, the original creative and that the original creative voice is often absent from Hollywood film adaptations. So I guess this is a little bit of a unique scenario. Although, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I gotta be honest, like, is there really, like, a lot of... is there really that much creative input to be given for Super Mario?
No.
I mean, like, what is he doing exactly? Like, oh yes,
Yeah.
he's jumping and punching blocks quite well. Or oh no, no, Yoshi's egg color is all wrong. It's not spotted green. It must be spotted red. I don't know. I just don't know what he's
I've
doing.
seen the Mario Maker levels where non-Nintendo people put them together, and yeah, I think no Nintendo thing and just like have just random people put this movie together is going to be the best way to get the Mario lore. Just random scenes after random scenes.
The
All I-
Tanuki suit is brown.
Yeah. What do you guys do? So the coloration is all wrong. The saturation and hue are all upside down. The I don't know. I really love the old Mario cartoon. I don't know if you guys have seen the old cartoon from like the what is it?
I
like
remember.
early 90s or something. They were some great episodes of that. Like with my favorite one was the one where they were on the steamboat and they were like kicking the bombs off the steamboat at like Bowser at the Koopas or whatever, and they were playing the Proud Mary Creedence Clearwater Revival song. Like it's just fantastic shit. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited. If it goes to theaters, I will see it probably.
It'll be really interesting seeing it in like modern animation. It'd be really cool.
Wait, is this? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask: is it animation like 2D or is it like 3D, like Dragon Quest animation?
I really hope
Oh,
it's
I don't
2D.
know.
I was assuming it was 3D.
No, please no. I'll click the link here. I don't think there's any visuals from it, but I don't know. I mean, I would prefer it not. Would you guys prefer like a CG 3D film, or would you rather have like a 2D anime type film?
I want 3D, but it has to look like Mario 64.
Oh, like
I want
blocks?
polygons.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. It says Sony Pictures has the rights for it. The live-action Ghost in the Shell film's producer Avi Arad is linked to the production as well. So that screams to me maybe CG. I don't know.
My assumption is CG.
Sony Pictures has the rights to a Mario film?
That's what it says.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, so we have 5 shows here. There was a Sword Art, there was Horimiya, there was Galactic Heroes, there was Natsume, and there was Mario. Which one are you guys the most hyped for?
Oh man, Natsume and Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh, we
feel
want
like
to back
all
up.
of these feel like such different niches. Like ones are movies, some are like long running stuff. Like there's so many different, I don't know, options here. I guess Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but I don't even need. I'm gonna say Horimiya just because I already have a completed Legend of the Galactic Heroes. So there we go.
No, I want more space battle axes, more Yang Wen Li.
I haven't seen. Have we
More
had any?
alcohol.
Have we had any space battle axes in the new
Yeah.
one?
We did last season.
I don't know. They weren't as vibrantly red as the OG, so I guess they didn't stand out as much.
There were a lot of space battle axes. I remember Icy and I went crazy.
Going nuts
when
for it,
that
yeah.
showed up.
How about you, Mitz? Any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Horimiya, to be honest, so it's hard to get
I don't think you like it.
I mean, what?
No.
Well, it's hard to get excited about it either way if I don't really know anything about it. So, I mean, I get that other people are excited, and I really don't know anything about Natsume. I'm sure Mandi will enjoy it a lot.
You'd
but
also probably wouldn't like that.
well, I'm so behind anyway. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So, man, I think I'm gonna have to say I'm most excited for. Is it as interested as I am in Sword Art Online's new, like potentially a new start of it? Part of me thinks I just won't be so satisfied by it anyway. So I guess I'm gonna have to say most excited by the Super Mario Brothers film first, and I will see that in theaters. I hope it comes to Movie Tavern. I would love to have like a cheap, like a really good, like a really fairly priced burger and fries in the theater on a Tuesday night at Movie Tavern. Let's make it happen, people. And then after that, I think Galactic Heroes, and then after that, probably Sword Art. So.
There you go.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, moving on, we are about to go into our first news break, but first we have 2 things of trivia. One, you can also participate for prizes, just like the pumpkin carving contest, don't forget. But this one, you go to our website, aaapodcast.com. If you take that mouse and whip it all the way to the bottom, you can see a nice little picture that contains one of Icy Rose's lesser-known favorites. If you know what the anime, or if you know the picture that the anime is, if you know the anime that the picture is representing, type it in and you can win a prize. The answer for last week was Shiki, and the winner for the week was Golden Jedi Link. So go down there and take a scanner. But also, before we head out, we have our weekly trivia question, which we'll play during the news break. And you have until that time to let us know what you think the answer is. Koji Kumeta, who wrote Kakushigoto, also wrote the manga for Joshiraku. In that show, what is the profession of the 5 main characters? We'll let you know in just a bit.
Don't go anywhere. Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here, and I'm bringing you your first anime news break, leading us right where we left off with new anime announcements. Aniplex and Bones have announced a new original anime property called Skate: The Infinity, which is going to be coming out here in January of 2021. The director is Hiroko Utsumi of Free and Banana Fish, and the synopsis: Reki, a high school sophomore and skater, is addicted to a highly secret and dangerous downhill skateboarding race that takes place in an abandoned mine. Holy heaven. The skaters are especially wild about the, quote, beefs or heated battles that erupt in the races. So this sounds like a pretty interesting little action racing show, obviously fantasy-based, and we'll have to see how this pans out when it comes out in January of 2021. I'm very interested. Next up, the Shaman King anime, which is been gathering a lot of momentum online and has been talked about quite a lot, has revealed a lot more of its staff and cast. The director is Joji Furuta of Nanatsu no Taizai, or Seven Deadly Sins. The studio is going to be Studio Bridge. So Studio Bridge is more or less well known for doing the fairy tale anime, so they're definitely leveraging some shonen background as far as the staff. Series composition by Shoji Yonemura of Parasite. The cast: Yo Asakura is being voiced by Yoko Hikasa. Other staff include Katsuyuki Konishi, Megumi Hayashibata, and Minami Takayama. If you're a fan of Shaman King, the original anime that was a part of our childhood for a lot of us, look out for another series of Shaman King coming out in April of 2021. And next, another new anime announcement: Barao no Soretsu, the manga, is going to be getting an adaptation. The date doesn't seem to be announced yet, but the synopsis: the crown of England has been hotly contested throughout history, and in the Middle Ages, a series of great civil wars became known as the War of the Roses. Claiming a right to the throne, the Duke of York seeks to unseat King Henry IV and his heir in order to become the king himself. So a little historical fantasy show, most likely. If you're a fan of those types of properties, look out for that. Baro no Soretsu, literally Requiem of the Rose King, coming out eventually with an unknown date. And lastly, Manga Entertainment has put out a pretty cool announcement. A collector's Blu-ray edition of the complete Dragon Ball Super property is going to be coming out, which includes all parts of the series: the Battle of the Gods, Resurrection of F, Champa, Future Trunks, and Universe Survival. If it's going to include a 52-page booklet, 5 art cards, a sticker sheet, and a poster, and some other great stuff. So if you're a big fan of Dragon Ball Super, they're going to be releasing this Blu-ray collection on November 2nd. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content. And now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile app apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you. And you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app. You can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. Just go to aaapodcast.com/join, and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's aaapodcast.com/join, and support the podcast.
あのね、このポッドキャストはスポンサーの提供でお送りしています。And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Joseph Joestar is so fucking jacked. He's on insane amounts of TRT. I mean, he has been juicing. I mean, forget Big Papa Pump, forget Hogan, all these fucking wrestlers. Joseph Joestar is jacked. He's been juicing. You could literally lift that rock off of Caesar.
That's probably why his mental capacity took a dive later in life.
He just couldn't get over the guilt.
Yeah, maybe.
Joseph's just like, you know what? He's such a great friend that I'm going to pound on the top of this rock with this headband because I'm just so distressed. But, you know, I could easily lift this rock off of him and give him a proper burial, but fuck it. He's good where he is.
He could sense the life force.
His mom doesn't care. She doesn't need to have a gravestone to visit. You know, the children will not come crying. That, you know, people will not weep in the streets. We'll just leave him there. Fuck it. Welcome back to the pod. Before we left you guys, we had a in-show trivia question. Koji Kumeta, who wrote Kakushigoto, also wrote the manga for Joshiraku. In this show, what is the profession of the 5 main characters? Does anybody know?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It's Dakugo, which was a very great anime some time ago. So
Joshiraku is also pretty funny too.
Yeah.
Chat was trying to figure out what manga were on my desk, and I'm like, which one? There's like 15 of them on my desk. We have Spy Family, we have Emanon, we have 20th Century Boys, Witch Hat, we have Pet Shop of Horrors, we have werewolf porn.
Whoa! Wait a second here.
You heard the Mitsugi.
Oh my god!
All right. Well, now we have Mandy's Manga Minute,
Yes.
which is everybody's favorite part of the show. Are you ready?
Sure.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. This one is called Jujutsu Kaisen, and I read this on the Shonen Jump app, so unfortunately I don't have a manga to show off for you today. But although Yuji Itadori looks like your average teenager, his immense physical strength is something to behold. Every sports club wants him to join, but Itadori would rather hang out at the school outcasts in the Occult Research Club. One day, the club manages to get their hands on a sealed, cursed object. Little do they know the terror they'll unleash when they break the seal. So Jujutsu Kaisen is a supernatural action series written and illustrated by Akutami Gege. This series is available on the Shonen Jump app, which is where I read it, with 5 volumes that are currently up. You could also purchase the manga in physical volumes if you like physical volumes instead. Jujutsu Kaisen seems to be playing it very safe so far by incorporating aspects of other popular shonen series. Just to give you a warning, I've only read volume 1, so anything past volume 1 I don't know anything about. So, but our main character, Yuji Itadori, joins an occult club despite being naturally talented at all sports. You're a strong kid, so help people, is a quote that his grandfather has ingrained within him, causing him to jump headfirst into some very bizarre circumstances. After the occult club tears the protective talisman off of a cursed object, Megumi, a student from Jujutsu High School, comes to reclaim it. And Yuji, however, thinks the best way to prevent the curse from attacking his friends is to eat the cursed item.
Oh.
It works for Kirby, right? So, overcoming incredible odds stacked against him, Yuji is able to merge with the cursed item and regain control of himself. Now he's enrolled in Jujutsu High School to hunt down the rest of the cursed items and consume them, while also learning how to master the new power growing inside of him. If you're a big fan of Shonen Jump series in general, I think you'll be very quick to notice that Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't really do anything to stand out from the rest as of volume 1. Anything past that, I would be new to me. I don't know anything about them. But even the main trio of main characters fits the same kind of team archetype that we see in other series, especially like Naruto. Still, it does play things very safely, but if you like those tropes, then you may find Jujutsu Kaisen enjoyable. It does promise to also be an action-packed series with some dark and creepy creatures. So if you're into it for the action, then you may be pleased. There's an anime coming out this season for Jujutsu Kaisen. I believe the first episode has already aired. So me personally, I don't know if the first volume gave me enough to continue it, but I know Shonen Jump is still very popular though. Some people absolutely love those tropes, so I will probably try out the first season of the anime to see if it grows anywhere past what I read. We'll see. But if you love Shonen Jump, you can check it out.
Well, there it is. Oh, and you might have said this already, Mandy. Sorry, but there's there's an anime coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Mandy, as always. Although, listen, you're gonna have to be a few months quicker if you want to perpetuate the myth that you are indeed driving the anime industry. You got to do the manga minutes before the anime is coming.
I know. It's just it was already on my list, and I already struggle sometimes to find action series because I'm always like slice of life. I love slice of life. And I have to remember not everybody loves slice of life, so I have to like create a variety. But it was already on my list of things to do, and I was like, oh shit, there's an anime coming out. I better do this before I can no longer do it, because all my manga minutes are manga that don't have anime yet, so
yeah,
I cheated. Oh well.
Well,
We forgive you.
I didn't want to have to scratch it off my list.
Well, there it is.
all right. Well, on that note, are we ready for Mason's new-ish segment, Unexplored Pictures?
Chat said
Sure.
Mitsugi's manga minutes.
Yes, indeed.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for Unexplored Pictures with Mason.
I feel like I should be walking to Totoro, like behind with that soundtrack playing. But nonetheless, welcome back. We have a special edition of Unexplored Pictures for you today. It was supposed to be a discussion of the new Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul movie, which just came out. If you live in the US or Canada, UK, Ireland, or South Africa, you can actually go online right now and purchase it and watch it, because it's not coming to all the theaters. But I decided to wait for my family to watch it with them. So with all of the talk about Among Us within our Discord, Icy Rose suggested that I watch a movie called They Were 11. This is 91 minutes long. It's from 1986, and I watched it on YouTube, which you probably can too. This is based on a single volume, award-winning manga by Moto Haigo, who is considered to be one of the founding mothers of modern shoujo. It's directed by Satoshi Dezukai, who did the Mad Bull 34 OVAs, which this is nothing like. And it's done by the studio Magic Bus, who did the Legend of the Galactic Hero movies from the 90s. So
It's a cute name.
This takes place in the future where space travel is possible. There's this elite Cosmo Academy where applicants try to get in from across the galaxy. And after many rounds of tests, we come into the final stage of the entrance exam. And our applicant that we follow is put into groups of 10, and they get sent out on the spaceship. And these group of 10 people need to survive for as long as they can. But when they get out there, surprise, they find out that the crew actually has 11 people on it, which immediately raises suspicions. And as the test progresses, things go awry. And if you played Among Us, it's a game about trying to find the imposter, the one who doesn't belong. And that's exactly what this is about. There's this mystery that they're trying to fight and figure out which of the 11 is the saboteur who is making all these things go wrong, who is perhaps killing people, perhaps is jeopardizing your admission into the academy. So it's kind of a mystery. At the same time, they're kind of trying to run a spaceship. So there's a lot of issues going around. There's an occasional food fight. It's kind of funny. It's kind of cheesy. It's in the 80s, so it has that charm to it. It's visually stiff in the animation, but the color palette of like navies, teals, purples, and those like shorter wavelength colors looks super cool. So if you're in it for the sci-fi, there isn't a ton, but the mystery is kind of fun, and the soundtrack is super fitting, except for like one major sound effect at the very end, which is kind of laughable. But nonetheless, it's very forward thinking, especially in terms of like gender identity, considering its age. And it's very much a movie about the messaging of acceptance for like foreign ideas or downright alien styles of life. So it's a pretty cool film. It's definitely watchable with your family. There is an English dub, and even though they have made quite some changes to it, it sounds decent. It has Steve Blum playing a very tall Griffith, which is very fun to hear. I would give this movie like a thumbs neutral. Like, it's not like game changing, but it's fun enough. I think whatever you think about mid 80s movies will be how you feel about the show. If you love the classic look of hand-drawn cells and like old school synths, you'll be like, I like the nostalgia. It feels great. But if you see that kind of stuff as dated and lackluster, you might not jive with this so much. So I would check out this movie if you're fans of the space chapter of Phoenix, Infinite Revius, or the recent Austria Lost in Space. If either of those shows jive with you, check out They Were 11.
Infinite Revius is some pretty trippy shit.
It's not as out there as that one, because it's a 1.5 hour movie versus 26 episodes, but it's similar ballpark.
All right. Well, thank you.
Chat was asking about Jujutsu Kaisen because I said that there's an anime coming out. It's supposed to come out on Crunchyroll. They were wondering if it was in Netflix jail. I think it's going to be on Netflix in Japan. I was just looking it up as Mason was doing his thing, and I think so far I've found that it's going to be on Crunchyroll. So I don't think it'll be locked.
I also saw the release date as the 20th or the 19th of September, which is it out?
Now.
I mean,
it's out.
Okay,
yeah.
It's out. It's out, people.
But I just looked on Crunchyroll and I couldn't find it. And I have a premium membership, but apparently it's out on pirate sites. Not that I'm telling you that you should. But...
I mean, it could be just the fact that it airs earlier. I don't know if it's simulcasting. Maybe that's what it...
Yeah, I'm not sure. But first episode is out, not on Crunchyroll yet. Soon.
Interesting. We'll keep you informed, hopefully by next podcast episode.
Maybe today. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yep. And I mean, next week we're doing our picks for the upcoming season. So I'm sure someone picked it, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
My lips are sealed.
Oh, all right. So, moving on from that, we have our main topic, which was choose your own topic.
Your own topic.
So we each have something fun to do here. I don't think it'll take too long. I think we'll get through all three of them today. But I want to start with Mason because this one that Mason has on here was on here last time and we didn't get to it. So let's start with Mason just to make sure we get to it this time.
Okay, that's okay. So my topic was about quote unquote power levels, which is the, hiding your fandom in plain sight. And I kind of talked about how I went to the gym and I saw some guy with the username called Plus Ultra. And that was like a neat way of like showing your fandom without being apparently obvious. Hey, this is an anime reference. Or Celtic Nerd in the Discord talked about a water bottle he wanted to bring to the gym that said like Picari sweat on it. And I was like, oh, that'd be great. Because, like, if you see someone with a water bottle with that, you might, unless you know anime, you wouldn't know what that is. So I wanted to ask you guys, what ways do you show your fandom without being overly apparent about it? And I figured I could start with some examples that I have, besides like the phone and computer wallpapers. But like I have a pen figure on my desk. So if someone walks by, it just looks like a penguin. So they're just like, oh, that guy really likes penguins. But if they get closer, they see a little bandana and like the Eva logo at the base, and then we can have a discussion. Or similarly, the seal sticker from Evangelion with like the 7 eyes. I've got a sticker of that, but otherwise it just looks like some weird Illuminati stuff. So pretty low key. Other ideas I've seen, like the Steins Gate clock, where it has the light tubes that show around. Those are super cool. Different names of pets I've seen. I don't know if you guys have any examples of that, but like all my ringtones have like 8-bit versions of anime openings. Right now I'm using like the Persona text tone, as well as the Rock and Roll Night from Penguin Drum, all of which, you know, it's all 8-bit, so someone just sounds like a weird beepy and bloopy soundtrack. But I don't know. I like all those little ways of being subtle about a fandom. How about you guys?
No.
No, you're not subtle about anything?
Nope, because I don't give a fuck.
And you shouldn't,
No.
to be honest.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. Honestly, I honestly don't care. I'll wear anything. I'm the least subtle person ever.
I guess
I have a Berserk mug at work, so.
But for example, say you had a pet, you wouldn't call him like, oh, this is Guts from Berserk. You would just call him Guts.
I probably would. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't put the whole name in there. Guts the Third.
Exactly.
No, one of them's named Shiki. It's not after the anime Shiki, actually. I didn't even know the anime existed at the time. And the other one is Kuma, because he looked like a little bear
Kuma.
when I got him.
He still
It's
looks
funny.
a little bit like a bear.
Baby ferrets don't like before they grow long, they're like really short and chubby. And he looked like a little tiny bear. It was really like with a tail though. It was really cute.
Before they become slinkies.
Yeah.
How about you, Mitz? Any small things that are little nods but not overtly in your face about it?
I don't have a lot of stuff at my house. I mean, I'm pretty minimalist anyway. I mean, I kind of have to. I think I've moved every year for like 5 years. So, I mean, my house has traces of anime. And there's behind me on a wall. You can kind of see it. If I move my head on Twitch, you can see behind me there's some framed pictures. There's some framed anime cells hanging on the wall behind me. And I got one on the other side too. But not a lot of stuff at home. At work, you know, it sucks, but sometimes work can be political, and like people will. It really shouldn't be this way, but as with anything in like the workplace, sometimes people are assholes, and sometimes people are unfair, and they don't really value meritocracy the way I feel like people should. Like, you know, you should just be rewarded for how good of a job you do, in my opinion. But ultimately, people will I fear people will like look at me and say, oh well, this guy's got like all this crap on his desk, so he's clearly not like mature enough to be a manager or some shit. So I don't know if that's real or not. I'm sure some people are just unfair like that, but I do have some stuff on my desk at work. So I'm actually like working from home right now, so I'm pretty much sitting at my work desk right now. I have like an L-shaped desk, and the L portion, the short portion of the L is like the podcast area, and then if I turn to my left, I have more monitors, and it's like where I work. But like, so a lot of the stuff I had at work is now on this desk here. So every time I go to Japan, I get one of these little Dragon Quest figures, and I've collected 3 of them now, and they're subtle enough that like people don't know what they are, and they don't know like where they come from. But I've got the slime tower, I've got the knight riding the slime, and of course I have, you know, the most important of all. I get excited every time I see him in the game. I've got the Slime King. Where's his face? There he is. It's like I have the Slime King with the crown. So stuff like that. I showed them earlier, but I have like the Space Brothers guys. So I have both Nanba. I have Muta and Hibito from Space Brothers, and they're like space outfits. So I don't know, just little things like that. I feel like are subtle enough that I get to like feel happy at work without like, people thinking that I'm weird. So I don't know. I've seen, well, I mean, like, and I say that because I've seen people. There was someone at my old company who had like 30 Barbie dolls on their desk, like in cases. And people can do whatever they want with their cubes, but I try not to go that far. I'm happy with just like a couple little. I fucking love Dragon Quest, so I'm happy with just like a couple little neat little Dragon Quest things. Oh, and when my coworkers ultimately bring their kids to work, on like for like when they can't afford or find a babysitter, or it's like bring your kid to work day, which is the worst idea ever. I'll let the kids play with like the Dragon Quest things because they're made of like solid. I could easily bludgeon someone to death with the Slime King. He weighs like.
Oh yeah, great toy for a
Perfect
kid.
for the child.
I mean, they think it's cute, but they're fucking heavy.
Bludgeoning people.
I mean, I just mean they're solid metal, so like they can't really hurt them. So they're like, oh, you want to play with Slime King? Here you go.
Messages here.
Shh. I don't want them to know. So yeah. So a Captain Avatar in the chat says, "Welcome to corporate life." I wish it was welcome to corporate life. It's more like, I think it was more like welcome to corporate life like 9 years ago. But it's just like, but that's just how it is. Like it, people are, you got all kinds of managers and stuff. So
I think I am the asshole at my company.
Someone has to be.
I couldn't care less. I'm the one who's very blunt. If somebody tries to start shit with me, I'll let you know exactly how I feel about it.
You let them know, Mandy. Let them fucking know.
I do.
I would never pull out this. Over here, I was like, I gotta have a Dragon Ball figure on my desk. So I chose this Bulma. I think this is like the hottest iteration of Bulma when she's got like all of the Mad Max style looking like jean pants and the goggles and I like this version of Bulma a lot. But she's got like, if I turn her sideways, she's definitely like sexed out. Like the booty on this Bulma is like ridiculous. So I would not bring this to work because
Beauty cleavage.
she has like THO and definite. It's like one of those pants where like one of the one pant leg is all the way down and the other pant leg is like ripped up to half of her ass. So she basically has like only one pant leg, but it's definitely like, bootylicious is how I would put it. So that one can't come to work with me.
Yeah, I don't have any figures at work. I think because I prefer them being here. I think I have a lot of OCD too, where I'm like, everything is like stacked up in perfect order and by like their series, and I think it would drive me nuts having stuff at work and here. But I did take my Hisoka mug to work, so that's over there now.
Does it have a dick light?
No, there's no dick light. That'd be really funny.
What
real
the fuck?
questions over here.
What the fuck's the point?
If
All right.
someone was to make a dick light Hisoka mug, I will instantly buy that.
All right, guys. So next up, I guess, I actually like Mandy's topic better, so let's do Mandy's next. So make sure we get to it.
Okay.
Why don't we do yours next?
I got mine, the idea for mine from a Twitter trend where people were like, this is what I'm going to drop if I were an MMO boss and you killed me. But like, they were usually just stuff about that person. I was like, I'm going to do that except for anime merchandise. Because, so this is like if we were all MMO bosses and the good old hunters came in and killed us, what would we drop that were anime related? So like we have like the trash drop, which are like gray items, usually vendor trash. Then like the regular drops and rare drops, and then the big old epic drop, which is like has like a 2% chance, and in MMOs it's usually like mounts or something. So yeah.
I feel like we should go column by column and all share our trash, all share our regular.
Okay.
So you want to give an example, Mandy, of how this would work?
Yeah, so my trash drops are I chose specifically like these are like all catered to me, like things that I own or things that I like. So my trash would be Gintama tin buttons or just any kind of anime tin buttons, because sometimes you like, especially at conventions, you get those for free and you're like, what the hell do I do with this? And you never know what to do with them. So if you don't know what a tin button is, this is like Dirt Auto. This isn't Gintama, but it's like these like little like buttons that sometimes people just give to you, and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. I guess I'll throw it in a drawer.
Don't you make Ita bags out of them? Isn't that one?
Yeah, you can make Ita bags, which are like the bags that usually they're for like husbandos.
Usually it's like one character and it's a bunch of like
Yeah.
keychains and like you said the pins, but
Yeah, I think Ita bags are like they're like meant to be like painful bags, meaning that they're painful to look at. So it's like
hence the Ita.
yeah, it's like here is the thing that I love, and I'm going to shove it in your face.
The opposite of hiding your power level.
Yeah, the exact opposite. Your power levels in fandom is exactly what it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, I never knew what to do with these buttons. I have this one. I have one for Your Lie in April too, that I got from somewhere. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know. I never know what to do with them.
So if you kill Mandi repeatedly, if you're farming Mandi, that's what you're gonna end
You're
up
gonna
with
get a lot of these.
You're gonna get a lot of tins.
Yeah.
For me, this is all stuff I have in my house. So for me, it's refrigerator magnets. I have a bunch of them. I really like StarCraft a lot, and I somewhere along the line acquired some. Where the hell did I freaking get them? I feel like it was at an anime con probably, but I got some StarCraft Zerg magnets. It has like cute versions of the Ultralisks and the Hydralisks, and it's got Kerrigan in her like Queen of Blades form, and it's pretty neat. And I've got some Dragon Ball magnets I got from the now I guess gone Shonen Jump World, which is no longer there, I guess. And I got some Totoro
Yeah,
magnets.
sad. Didn't we go the last year it was there?
You know, I'm not
It's
really.
amazing.
I don't really know, but every time I've been there like 3 times, and every time I went there really wasn't really anybody there. It was like just me. So, you know, I guess it probably wasn't doing well. And Totoro magnets as well. I have some of those in my fridge as well, and they're cute. But boy, the StarCraft magnets, they suck. They don't hold up. They don't. I can't. Magnets piss me off when you get them and they just don't. They can barely hold a freaking piece of paper on your fridge.
Yeah,
I'm like,
true.
damn it! Like the Totoro and the Dragon Ball ones are solid. I can hold like a birthday card, you know, on there. But like the Zerg ones are mostly just for decoration because they can't hold shit. maybe like a check I got in the mail or something. That's about it. Mason?
I didn't have a great one for my trash drops. So normally if you're killing me, what I'm going to be bleeding out of my pockets and all sorts of orifices are just sheets of my Japanese notes when I'm like reading manga or news articles. I like always write it down and like make translations on it. So if you kill me, that's what I'm dropping all over the place. And you're just like in a puddle of that stuff like, not again. I hate this stuff. This is just straight up garbage that you drop off the map somewhere. So normally if you're killing me, that's what you're getting 9 times out of 10.
Also, to clarify for people who are listening and not watching, who didn't get to see my tin pins, the tin ones are like really cheap round ones. I'm not talking about enamel pins. Those are far more expensive and far more fancy. You're not getting any enamel pins from me.
All right. How about the regular drops? 54% chance.
Yeah, so obviously loot tables for bosses have a shit ton, so I kind of just I made the list a lot shorter. But yeah, regular drops, which is like, you know, you have a 50-50 chance of getting this. And mine is just a random manga for my manga collection because I have a fuck ton of manga. So there's a pretty good chance you're going to get one of those books. It'll suck though, because you might not get volume 1. You might just get volume 13 of a series. And so it could be good. It could not be good.
All right.
It's a gamble.
For me, it's figures. I've been showing them on Twitch here a lot. I sold a lot of my figures when I moved, and I didn't get much money for them, but I just didn't want to bring a lot of stuff with me. And I've shown the Space Brothers figures, and then there's the little cute Dragon Quest figures that are just fucking awesome. If they weren't so damn expensive, I'd buy more of them, but they like I said, they are solid pieces of metal, and like they're pretty neat. The only other thing on this desk I have is like my new Sonic Nendoroid, which is pretty badass, and I like him a lot. I kind of have him like it even comes with like the gate that you cross in It goes ding when you like when like the bonus level, and I've got him like running and he's like reaching out and holding a Chaos Emerald. So that's pretty neat.
Oh, that's cool.
There's some more Dragon Ball ones in my garage, but you'd get some like some anime figures of various quality, but nothing too nice. Like none of these like $500 badass like Berserk figures or stuff like that, because that would definitely be like a better drop. So like a regular drop would just be like a maybe like a $20 figure you got at like a recycle shop or something.
Gotcha. I was trying to pick different drops than you guys. I didn't want us overlapping with our merch drops. But the regular drop for me, besides hot takes, as Rob pointed out, is probably gashapons. The little lottery things you get from the Japan like vending machines. You drop in like $2. You turn the dial and you get like one of like 6 to 8 figures that pop out, and these are like perfect for like keychains, or I put them on like my rearview mirror or on like door handles to my closet. So these are really small little things, but that are just cute and small enough that it's worth keeping around. So I have enough gashapons that you're got a 50% chance of finding one of those.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot about gashapons. I have a lot of those too. When we went to Japan, I put coins into every Natsume one I could find, and now I have a plethora of Natsume gashapons.
Yeah, they're just so fun to play, and they're so cheap that
Yeah.
it's pretty low risk betting.
My rare drop, which is like 10 to 20% chance to drop, so not great odds, but if you get one, you're probably going to be very happy, is some of my Gemline anime figures. So if you know what Gem, they're from Mega House, and they're known for being pretty expensive, and when they sell it pretty quickly too. So if you miss out on them, they get marked up a lot on eBay or anywhere else that sells like pre-owned figures. The ones that I have that I know are worth a lot, I have Yato from Noragami. That one sells now for like, God, between $800 to $1,000. And I have Hisoka and Killua. Both of those I know sell for over 500. I don't think my Gintoki sells for much. I don't know. The Gintama ones aren't as expensive as some of the other ones. I think the most are like $80, so it's a gamble. But you're probably gonna get a very expensive figure.
Rare drops. So for me, honestly, like my most valuable anime stuff are anime cells, but I didn't want to put that as my best one because I didn't want to spoil anything that we'll see here in a few minutes. But I do have a couple cells. I haven't gotten them framed. One of them I haven't gotten framed because it's borderline worth framing, but borderline not, and the frame itself would probably cost more than the cell's worth. And that's this cell of Sanosuke from Rurouni Kenshin with like his head bleeding, and it's got a background, but I think it's only worth like $100. So I haven't gotten it framed yet because of that. The other one that I haven't gotten framed yet because of COVID is this one of Golden Boy. He's cleaning the toilet and blushing about it because that's Golden Boy's all full of toilet humor because he's a pervert. And this one I need to get framed because it is worth framing. But now there's another cell on eBay. I tried to get the guy to lower the price, but there's like a fucking fantastic Golden Boy cell of him like looking back on his bicycle with his hat on with a full background, but he wants $750 for it. And I'm like, ooh, $750.
That's a lot.
I'd have to sell the one I've got to make up about $300 of the difference and then eat another, $450 to get it. But it is glorious. It is fucking glorious looking. So, but that's just not going to happen. I mean, my favorite cell is my LaFille cell from Crest of the Stars. I'm not going to go back and get it off the wall. I've showed it before. And then I've got a great one from GTO. And I have the Ava one I've got is probably the best one, but it's over on the other wall, and I don't want to go get it either. So I really only have like a few cells that are worth showing, but I really like them. I just tend to spend like around $300 a piece for them, and I just don't really, I don't know, have the appetite to drop the money all that often. So I only have a few. So if you get a rare drop and it's an anime cell, you'll have the full collection before long.
There you go.
Yeah.
Similarly to anime cells, my rare drop is probably going to be posters. I don't have a ton of them, but I have a couple like Ghibli ones that I don't have showing because this isn't my normal room. But I have the Nausicaa and Mononoke like movie size, like they put up like outside of a theater. I've got those posters, which are pretty cool. I've got the signed like heart. I'm trying to remember the name of the type of poster it is, but the one from Dr. Stone with the mangaka and illustrator, I got that signature, so that's pretty cool. I have my like homebrew, like stitched and taped together Tatami Galaxy one that's usually in the back. So, they're all varying levels of quality, but nonetheless a lot of heart, and I like those a lot. So, a lot of different sorts of posters.
The last drop, which is like the epic one, just like I was going for more like a one of a kind type of deal, but my last one was anime cells because each anime cell is one of a kind. So I was like, ooh, that's a pretty good epic drop. If you get it, you're not gonna get another one like it. But I said specifically anime cell from an iconic scene because those are the rarest, like the most sought after. I don't really have any like that. When I was looking up Hunter x Hunter cells, and I wanted one from the Gon versus Hisoka fight because that was one of my favorite scenes in the show. I did find one of the actual like Gon punching him, but it was over $5,000.
Holy shit.
It was really expensive. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to get that. So I went for the next best one that I could find, which is right before that, where it's just like Gon's fist in the frame and Hisoka getting ready to block. But that one was nowhere near as expensive, but it was still like my most expensive cell because it is from like an iconic scene. But yeah.
That's a
Come
crazy.
on, Andy.
That's a crazy
I'm
price
starting
tag.
to doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
Oh, you want me to spend
Jesus.
$5,000?
No, do not do that.
That's like
we at the AA are requesting more funds for unidentified podcasting purchases. Please send donations to.
It's so tempting. This Golden Boy cell is 30. It's just $32 a month for 2 years.
Let me look at this.
Yeah,
Well, that's a pretty good cell.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And
I like that it has the background too.
He has no butt though. Kentaro has no ass
it's
at
like
all.
actually concave.
It's like really
Spent your booty budget on the Bulma.
It's the saddest booty ever. I think this guy said he'd go down to 700 for it, but
not for that booty. You better go down a little bit further.
Yeah, it's expensive. So, all right.
Not gonna cut that bottom line.
For me, my rare loot drop are these Whisper of the Heart. Even though I said I think the cells are better. These Whisper of the Heart matching music boxes. They're pretty cute. They from the Whisper of the Heart movie. So it's got the Baron, and then it's got whatever the hell her name is. Does it have her name on the bottom? It's
Miss Feline.
No, it just says Country Road on the bottom because that's the song it plays. So I don't know. Her name's like Elena or
Can you play it?
Yeah, it just plays Country Road. Like
I have a Totoro one. See if I can get
Country
it.
Road, Sonomichi. It's like the
That's
theme
my
song.
little Totoro music box.
What does it play?
Like
Sonpol?
Totoro.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, so now this thing's gonna play Country Road for like an hour.
Everyone play your music boxes all together now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm from West Virginia, so it's perfect that it's like plays Country Road. That's basically the theme song of the state. I don't know what else to say. So, that Totoro one's cute.
Yeah, if you're not watching live, it has like little strings and it lifts up Totoro's umbrella and then like a little mini like they're not called Totoros, are they? Like the little ones?
It's Chibi Totoro. The fuck is the
little
Naruto?
Totoro, Floofer Totoro.
I think it's like Chu Totoro or something. I think for the
little
one.
white one comes out of the
Medium.
cup, and they're like some little soot sprites on a somersault. It's pretty cool.
Don't you mean brush bugs?
Brush
Whatever.
bugs? You mean brush buddies?
Brush bunnies, that's what it is.
From Witch Hat.
Yeah. Okay, so to close it up, my epic drop, as with all things, is a disappointment, and you would get one of my terrible anime video games that I don't even know how I came into possession of, but they are in my house, and please get them away from me. So this is like PS2 classics, like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelist of the Roses.
I have that game.
It's so bad.
It's so good.
Avatar: The Last Airbender,
my God.
that video game, 0 out of 10. It's probably one of the worst video games I've ever played in my life. Like, it is unplayable. It's so bad. So you would get gems such as that. That's your punishment for killing me, is I'm punishing you with terrible games.
It's definitely not as bad as the Orphan game on PS2. That fucking game
That's
was
pretty
rough.
bad.
That was rough.
Maybe I've already been killed once, and that's why I don't have it anymore. The Kill la Kill fighting game, that's not very good either. You can take that. So yeah, that's what you'd get. That's your punishment.
Cursed
Alright.
loot.
Cursed loot, yeah. It infects you, and then you have to. No one wants it.
Yeah,
Well-
you're the sucker if you beat him.
Guys, we definitely don't have time to do my topic, but we will save it for
We
another
don't?
time.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
do it next time. I like
We'll
like
do it
this
next
topic.
time. We'll do it next time.
It's because it's about food, and I like it.
Oh yeah, everyone loves food. So, but we'll do it. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next month. So, Manny, get us to the news break.
Yeah, so for our anime news trivia, which we will answer after the break, is the name of the dog in Kakushigoto is Roku. In Japanese, what number is read as Roku?
Oh,
We will answer it after the break.
Anime Addicts Mitsugi is back one more time, and I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a video game news break because there was certainly a lot of video games going on in the news this week, mostly from Sony. Sony had revealed a lot of the specs and details about the PlayStation 5 that we had been waiting for, honestly, longer than we probably should have. It's going to launch on November 12th in the US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, and many other countries. It's going to retail for $500 for the disc version, and the digital edition, which does not contain a disc drive, will retail for $400. The company also revealed some more details about the PlayStation Plus collection that PlayStation Plus subscribers will get. It's going to include games like Bloodborne, Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Persona 5, Resident Evil 7, and more, which is a pretty sweet little deal. It's going to come with a wireless DualSense controller, which is all the little bells and whistles of the DualSense controller that we have been hearing about for a long time, including the haptic feedback and all that other stuff. So if you're a fan of Sony and PlayStation and are looking forward to getting into the new generation, it's going to be coming out on November 19th at $500 or $400, depending on which version you would like to buy. Additionally, the Sony Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan confirms that the PS5 will not be backwards compatible with the PS1 or all the way up to through PS3. So if you want to play PS1, 2, or 3 titles, better hang on to your PS4 or your PS3, I guess, probably. And however, it will be backwards compatible with 99% of PS4 games, so they've got you covered on that avenue. Moving on from Sony, Nippon Ichi Software, the creators of Disgaea, have announced Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny, the game coming out in the summer of 2021. It's going to be releasing on the Switch, so if you're a fan of Disgaea and own a Switch, you'll be probably wanting to pick this game up. It's going to include English and Japanese audio and text. So the game is described as Zed, a boastful zombie who wallows on the lowest rung of the netherworld ladder alongside his sister Bieko. When a god of destruction threatens their way of life, or rather unlife, Zed must harness his unique ability of super reincarnation to stand against the approaching menace, and along the way he will reunite with twisted and colorful denizens of different netherworlds. And I watched the trailer, and a lot of characters from past Disgaea games, including Laharl and Etna and Flan, are in this one. So if you're a fan of Disgaea, you want to pick this up. Next up, Nintendo has announced that they are discontinuing production of the 3DS series of handheld consoles. So that sort of generation of console is having the door closed on itself, and after a lot of success, to be perfectly honest, because the 3DS family of consoles sold 76 million copies as of June 30th, which is a pretty huge success. But if you have a Nintendo 3DS LL, XL, and 2DS LL, etc., they're going to be ending production on these consoles. And lastly, Capcom has announced Monster Hunter Rise, a game for the Switch, coming in March of 2021. So the game's deluxe edition is going to include Kamurai Hunter layered armor sets, Shuriken collar, Palamute layered armor pieces, Fish collar, Palico layered armor pieces, lots of other types of armor. If you're a big fan of Monster Hunter, I really don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners enjoy it, and I know it's very popular. You'll be able to check out more of the Monster Hunter games coming out here in March of 2021 on the Switch. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, back to the podcast right now.
Hi, this is Brina Palencia, voice of Rei Ayanami, and I'm an anime addict. And then she cries.
Hey addicts, I guess you have probably heard by now, but we have decided that at the end of August, we will be ending our promotional arrangement with JList.com. So what does this mean exactly? Well, we do still recommend you visit JList for all your anime shopping needs, but we will no longer be receiving financial support from JList to run the podcast the way that we have in past years. But don't panic yet. We're putting out a rallying cry to all the anime addicts across the globe to help support the podcast. We need you guys more than ever, and you can visit patreon.com or our website, aaapodcast.com/join, to offer support. Anything is appreciated, and you'll get some pretty sweet content as a reward. Don't forget those hobby addicts and hentai episodes. So again, help us help make your anime addiction worse over at Patreon or aaapodcast.com/join. We really appreciate your help. Like Epo, we're never down and out. It's time for one more Gazelle Punch. Together, let's make that anime addiction worse for years and years to come. Welcome back to the podcast. The name of the dog in Kakushigoto is Roku. In Japanese, what number is read as Doku? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go. Doku. It's 6.
Indeed,
yes. All right. Well, now that we've done that, I would like to remind you that when you sign up for our extra content on our podcast website at aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you get our exclusive member RSS feed that will let you get all of our exclusive content on your favorite apps. I get mine on the normal Apple podcast app, but it's also available on Podcast Addicts, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Downcast, etc. This is too many apps called with cast in the name. But now you can listen very conveniently on your favorite app. It just shows up as another podcast in your feed. And when we post our hentai episodes or after parties or our hobby addicts, they just pop up there for you the same way our normal episodes do. So if you want to help out the show, we'll help you out with a little bit of convenience. So we appreciate you as always. And another way you can help out the podcast is by submitting a 5-star review on iTunes. It is very helpful for us because people go and they say, oh my God, this podcast has 700 reviews and it's got 5 stars. How is that possible? If that was a restaurant on Google Maps, if there was a 5-star restaurant on Google Maps with 700 reviews and a 5 out of 5, Mason would even go to that restaurant.
I just might.
And so with that, we're going to read one of these 5-star reviews.
It's time for iTunes review.
Ayo Angel writes, just addicted. Not going to lie, but I never listened to podcasts because I just thought they were for old people. Actually, I think it's like the opposite nowadays. Podcasts are becoming like pretty commonplace, but anyway.
We are old people.
I mean, I am. Yeah,
Whoa,
I am. I'll just say I'm old. You guys
I'm the same age as you.
Shh. Shh.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
22. Quit trying to fit in with us adults.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm 22 again. I forgot.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like 47.
I got all kinds.
Sorry, go ahead.
Currently, I have rotator cuff tendonitis, so that's really great. Anyway, but ever since I started listening to this one show, enough said. I listen to this AAA pod all the time when I cut the grass, when I'm at the gym. Oh my God, see, I'm telling you guys, when I'm eating sushi, when I'm scuba diving. No, it doesn't say that. And I dare say, even in the bathroom, you know what? That deserves a drop.
Oh my God.
So this 5-star review is, well, you know what? I think we have like you don't like eating dog shit. And finally,
yeah, but I already ate this shit burger.
I can just see a big, never mind. So this 5-star is well-deserved. I am addicted and need more. So thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. And now it's time for mailbags. Where's that drop?
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
Chat thought I was much younger, which is not surprising. Everyone thinks I'm younger than I actually am.
That's kind of how it is. Really quick, I could be way off base, but AO Angel, the person who left the review, if you're the person in Discord who keeps on leaving food pictures, they're amazing. Please keep it up. Anyway, go ahead.
If you would like to submit a mailbag, go to aaapodcast.com. There's a mailbag button there. Click it, and we will answer all of your questions. I don't even think they technically have to be anime related. Just anything you want to ask us, as long as it's nice. This one is from Harius Shar. I think that's how you pronounce it. But they say, hey guys, I was recently reading the 3rd edition of Anime Encyclopedia and was wondering how I could find out when the next installment would come out. Do you know who I can speak to about such matters? I'm looking forward to seeing an updated version someday. I didn't actually know about this book until you just mentioned it, or I read this. So I looked it up, and it said that one came out in 2015. And I don't know. I think it might be too soon to expect another one. That was only 5 years ago. So it looked pretty extensive. Like it had a lot in it. It was a pretty huge book. It was like a $70 book. So I think expecting one now would be way too soon. For an updated one, I don't know how often they would do those. Probably not for a while, I would think. Over a decade, I would think. But yeah, I did want to say thank you, though, for letting me know, because I was recently looking for books on anime history, and I saw another one from that author called Anime A History. Go figure, I probably should have found that one first. But that one is now on my watch list, so thank you.
I just did contact the author, I mean, if you go to Amazon, it's there. I mean, the link's in the show notes, guys, by the way, if you get them. And to be honest, like, I'm not sure if you can contact the authors on Amazon by clicking their name or whatever. You might be able to send a message. But, if you're curious, you could always just ask. I don't know.
How are you going to claim to be the encyclopedia of all things anime if you don't have the greatest anime character of all time, Nezuko from Demon Slayer? Like, you got to update that. Come on, guys, get with it. Also, you guys are allowed to send mean mailbags. We'll just read them during the hentai episode. So, There you
No,
go.
don't ask me mean things. I'll cry.
You just say mean things.
No,
There's a
don't say
difference.
mean things to me.
We
I
have.
don't want to hear your mean words.
I mean, we have hentai mailbag options on the website when you submit. So if you want to submit a hentai mailbag, those are pretty helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Next mailbag is from Fashion Eagle 69. So AAA hosts. Speaking of hentai episodes, my new job doesn't allow me to wear headphones. That's not very good. That sucks. I don't know if I. I don't know if
that
I
would
can.
be really awful. Unless, of course, you have to listen to something. If you can't hear something and it might possibly kill you, that might be a good reason.
I mean, if you're an air traffic controller, like I get
Exactly.
it. This means that I'm only able to listen to podcasts on my drives. The dilemma arises: should I quit? I think you should.
Yeah, I think you should quit your job immediately. As I said, our good sensei Gintoki once said, manga always ends in the same way. But in real life, you have to make your own endings. So the only thing preventing you from listening to more of our podcast is you.
That's right. She's right.
So you should quit your job.
I mean, honestly, if I had a job that was like my current job, which is programming like financial models and shit, I mean, I would basically, I might think about quitting. You know, I had a job once where I was working for a law firm as an analyst doing the same thing. And they got like really butthurt and they were like, "Oh, you can't bring your cell phone into the building because we're afraid you're going to like photograph people's loan numbers off the computer screen and shit." And I was like, and almost everybody had like a revolt about that. Like, first of all, as an aside, photographing loan numbers off of a spreadsheet on a computer with a phone is about the least efficient way to steal data I've ever.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do?
Sounds illegal too, right?
No, it's totally illegal, but like, what are you going to do? Like, it's like, let's say you got 5,000 rows of phone numbers. What are you going to do? Photograph the first 30 rows and scroll down, photograph the next 30 rows. You're going to be there for like an hour. Just put the fucking thumb drive in the machine and take the file. You know, I don't know. It's just ridiculous, but yeah, I would quit.
Mitsuki, it sounds like you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. You're saying steal from your company, sell the info on the black market to make so much money you don't need to work anymore. And that way you can quit. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. What of it?
That's what a true fan would do. Yeah. I'll vouch that. Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Rob in the chat said, you just get a single Bluetooth earbud, paint it skin tone color, and there you go. Say it's a hearing aid. They'll never know the difference.
I need real quick before we do this review. And by the way, thank you for the mailbags. But before we do this review on Kakushigoto, I need an opinion from you guys and maybe from the chat. But mostly from you guys because they haven't seen that anime cell and you have. So the guy, I have very bad news and good news. The good news is that the guy actually said he'd lower the price from $750 to $600, which is substantially less.
So yeah.
And the bad news is that now I'm tempted.
Oh.
I could sell the anime cell of Kintaro cleaning the toilet, which was $300. Which my girlfriend hates. She hates it. And
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that.
She hates it.
I think you should get both.
She hates it. She wants me to hide it, hang it up somewhere where no one can see it. So I could in theory sell that anime cell and buy the other one for only a $300 markup. What say you?
Now, would you buy this one and then sell it, or would you like wait because then it might be gone by the time you sell this one, and then you'll be screwed. They'll both be gone.
I might buy the. I might.
Thinking.
There was honestly a better sell for only $100 more that I didn't buy at the time, and I regret that. So I might just buy it now and then just sell the one I have after. I don't know how long it takes to turn around an anime sale like this. Maybe a few months. But
yeah, I haven't sold one, so I'm not sure.
What do you guys think?
You could buy a PS5 and 2 games and get a couple months of enjoyment, or you could get a Golden Boy cell and be happy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think you should get it and keep both cells. But I am also an agent of chaos.
I also honestly would say this is not my thing, but if it will bring you happiness, you got to do what you got to do. This is why we're adults. This is why we go to school and make that money and do our job so we can have the money and finances to spend it on things like this. And if your child self saw you hesitating like this, would he be disappointed?
Every $5 that you donate will go to the adoption of these anime cells.
Exactly. Exactly. I realized we had like 7 or 8 like really choice J-list commercials, all scripted out, and we just never made them. But
Just play In the Arms of the Angel behind all of that.
exactly. Exactly. Now we have to make our own versions, but instead it's just helping Mitz feed his addiction.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll move on. I posted the link in the chat for the people watching on Twitch, but I will say, as just a lesson, always ask for a lower price. I got $150 off of this sale just by asking. So the guy, he said he bought it for he said he bought it for basically $600. He's probably been trying to sell it for a while, and he's probably just desperate to get his money back. So always ask. It doesn't hurt.
I do that with figures too. I've gotten like my Hisoka. I know people try to sell it in Japan for like $800. I didn't get it for $800 because somebody really wanted to get rid of it, and I was like, "Hey, I'll give you a lot less for that." They're like, "Sure."
Before I'll say it again. Whenever you're like waffling, should I or should I not do something? Always flip a coin. Not because you have to do what the coin says, but because when it's in the air, you'll know what you want it to be. So there you go. So
all right.
we'll give chat some time to give their input. I think most of them are just trying to egg you on. So
yeah, they're like, buy both, buy both.
Buy. It's like they're
buy. I really don't need two anime sales to commemorate my fandom.
Yeah, but it would make your girlfriend that much more angry, which is worth it.
Some of us have 3 Hunter x Hunter cells, so and more in their watch list.
Anyway, moving on. We have our review of Kakushigoto, which came out in spring of 2020. I passed this on episode 520, and it is streaming over on Funimation. Studios Ajia Do, they're doing Ascendance of a Bookworm. They did Yokohama Shopping Log, and they did a co-production of Twilight Q, which was a pretty cool, like, alternate version of the Twilight Zone. Like I mentioned earlier, this was written by Koji Kumeta, who did the manga for it. He did Zetsubo Sensei, he did Kate ni Kaizo, and he did the character designs for the Eccentric family. So going into this, I'll give my initial expectations. I'm a big fan of Zetsubo Sensei. I love the way Kumeta's works look. They have a very simple but unique, like, distinctive style to them, and I think that translates really well into anime. It has a visual cohesion, it has a pop to it, and all the time I have talked about, like, Tomohiko is the guy who always has anime with great beginnings and subpar endings, but Kumeta is the guy with okay beginnings and god tier endings, which is why when I first watched this show, the first couple episodes were kind of okay. Like, they kind of were funny and they were kind of heartfelt, but I don't think it pretty leaned into either one of those as much as I wanted to. But I had faith with this guy that it would come out in the end to be pretty good. And Kamiya Hiroshi is the main voice actor, and he is always a win in whatever show he's in. So I was just kind of expecting more of him, more of Kumeta's style, and I think I kind of got that. So what did you guys think coming in?
I didn't have grand expectations, but I did love Eccentric Family, although I know he just did the art for that, I think. And I do like Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, although sometimes the comedy can be hit or miss with me. Sometimes I think it's hilarious. Sometimes I'm like, that one didn't really land with me. But I did know that the main voice actor was Kamiya Hiroshi, so I was expecting some great voice acting because he's a really fast speaker, and he has some fantastic voices that he does for his characters. And I did watch the first couple of episodes, and the comedy wasn't really hitting with me. I thought it was cute, but I also thought that the entire show is going to just be a one-note joke of him just trying to prevent his daughter from finding out that he's a mangaka. But yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. When I started it, when it was first airing, and I watched the first 3 episodes, and I put it on hold till this last week because I was afraid I was going to forget everything up until the review. So yeah, going into it, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that I was either going to love it or either just be okay with it. But it definitely didn't look like something that I was going to hate. So yeah.
I didn't really have much of an expectation, really. I thought to myself, I mean, I thought it was going to be kind of like a slice of life-ish anime, just initially. You know, if I was like to watch it for 10 minutes and tell you. And, but yeah, not a lot of expectations. It has pretty good like ratings online, so I guess that's a good starting point maybe, but unlike our anime next week, which does not have good ratings.
We'll get there.
I'm looking forward to this next one.
It's going to be a fun one.
Over Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be rough.
Exactly. So Kakushigoto is about a somewhat popular manga artist who his works are known for their inappropriate content, very juvenile and ecchi-esque humor. And because they're so raunchy, he wants to keep his profession a secret from his daughter Hime, and has vowed to keep his profession a secret by pretending to be a salaryman. And from his constant paranoia of trying to keep the secret bottled up from her teachers, her friends, just everyone that could have interacted with this life and reveal it to her, leads to a bunch of misunderstandings and zaniness and a bunch of weird rabbit holes of assuming the worst, and it tumbles out of control. So it's very much a slice of life comedy, and that's what the show is about. And to go into the spoiler-free recommendations, this is an extremely slice of life show. The biggest plot developments are just the minuscule influences that the single father and daughter have on one another as it kind of continues to shape their character. It has like at the end of each episode for like 1 minute, we get like a glimpse of this mystery event that happens in the future, and that kind of culminates in the end. But for the most part, you're watching this for very episodic moments. Like Mandi said, I didn't find the comedy to be all that stellar. The show leans very heavily on puns, which work in the Japanese language, but doesn't translate well to English. But if you're coming to this for the father-daughter moments, like Sweetness and Lightning, Usagi Drop, or Barakamon, I think you'll have a lot to like here. I like that we get glimpses into the manga creation process, but I wish that was a little bit deeper, as I think I'll say throughout this review, that I wish a lot of the other components, they just got into it more. So nonetheless, it was pretty watchable, and if you're in for the slice of life thing, I recommend it for that.
Yeah, about the same. I thought the beginning, I didn't think I was going to really like it, because I thought it was just going to be like, every episode was just going to be like, I have to hide that I'm a mangaka from my daughter, and here's all the zany stuff that happens around that. But as it went on, I was like, no, there's a whole lot more to the series, and there is kind of like a weird kind of almost melancholy ending to each episode. We were like, oh, something really bad must have happened, because it just seems really sad all of a sudden, where and you that kind of builds up the mystery and trying to figure out what happened exactly, because it does go back and forth between Hime as a child and Hime as like a teenager. I think she was still in high school at the time, but yeah, so I was also curious what was going on with that. And I think overall, there were some really adorable moments in there. I thought some of the father-daughter bonding moments were really cute and really heartwarming. Some of the comedy was, I thought the comedy got better as it went on, but I think the last 2 episodes were a little cheesy. There were some things in there I was like, that's a little far-fetched. So I didn't really care for the ending as much as the journey up to that point. But I still thought it was a pretty decent watch. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I do recommend it.
I recommend it also. I don't really think this is a MITS anime, to be honest. It's not really in my wheelhouse, really, but I can see that there's probably a good chunk of the anime fan base that would enjoy this. So to them, it's recommendable. It's absolutely in the same vein as like Sweetness and Lightning, as Mason said already. If you like Sweetness and Lightning, you'll almost guaranteed like this anime, I would say. I think, as I recall, this one tries to be funny a little more than Sweetness and Lightning does. And honestly, anime humor doesn't really land with me all that much. It's shows like Golden Boy that land with me, and those shows barely exist now. So I didn't really find this very funny. I think you can still enjoy it even if you don't get the humor out of it. Probably there's enough moments of father-daughterness. It's recommendable. I just don't think it's recommendable to everybody. The guy that like watches lots of Fairy Tail and My Hero isn't really necessarily going to like this show. So just keep that in mind because it definitely stays in its genre. So that's about it.
Well, nice. Well, with that, we can go to the spoiler zone. We can play the drop, but I think we'll be able to talk about this show for a little bit longer before we get to like the big spoiler, which only happens in the last episode because it's such a slice of life show. So if you're still hesitant, you can probably stay tuned, and I'll probably give you another warning before we get to that moment. But let's play the drop now, just for appearances.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
So the plot, as they say in the show itself, is an extremely boring anime. There are no swords or magic. Nothing exciting happened. It was just a story about a father, mother, and daughter living out their mundane lives. I like when shows have like this meta element where they know exactly what they're presenting. But I think more than the plot of the show that's worth talking about is the characters, because that's really, I think, the driving factor of what makes a show, especially in the slice of life genre, successful. So what did you guys think of Kakushi, who was voiced by Kamiya, and his daughter Hime? What did you think of their two relationships?
I thought their relationship was really cute because you can tell that he really dotes on his daughter a lot, and she's far too smart for a kid of her age. She's so clever.
She's equally smart and dumb. She's like right in between, like too smart.
I think you mean childish because she is a child.
Yeah, but she mishears a lot of things or just like assumes things, and she's adorable. She's absolutely precious.
But she is very mature for a child of her age. Like there's so many times where he's like explain like she like moments where they can't do something because she has like this is a single father household, and there are some moments in the show where there are things that they can't do, but she's so accepting of it. Or if there's a moment where somebody in her classroom says that it'll be too hard for her father who's working all the time, she won't ask him for things, and because she's so like she cares a lot about like how her father is doing. It's just like, I don't know, it just seemed really mature for her age. I was like, oh, that's really adorable. But him, I felt like I could not relate to it because there are so many times where I'm like, why are you hiding this? You're doing like a shonen like series where it's not like you're doing hentai. It's like, oh, here's a panty joke.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the shame. I don't know. I can believe that some like spastic manga writer who's been like written off his whole life is like,
she's not going to understand it.
She's not. No, we as the viewer know this. She would just shrug it off, and she'll find out later. But like, it's the illusion of like having a father figure she can be proud of. Like, I kind of get it, but yes, it is taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
I think Kamiya did a great job voicing it. It's the same voice that he gave Zetsubo Sensei, but I thought Hime's voice actor, Takahashi Rie, who has been going off in 2020. She's been Emilia from ReZero. She did Megumin and Konosuba, which are both in the same show, in Isekai Quartet. Was Mew in the Listener show that we're going to talk about next week. She's been side characters in like Fate Grand Order, Princess Connect, Laid Back Camp, Rent a Girlfriend. Like, she has been in every like major show from this year, and I think she killed it as Hime. I love their relationships. It was always heartfelt. It was always made my doki doki be like, oh, this is so precious. And I think that alone like solidified it as a good installment in that father-daughter relationship. Mm-hmm. And of course, the puns are all over this show. Obviously, Kakushigoto can be read as Kakushi Goto, which is secret. You can do Kaku Shigoto, which is like a job that you draw. You've got Kakushigo, which is an illegitimate child. You had, I think one of the episode titles was called Shiwasu wa Kimi no Uso, which is a play on Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, which is Your Lie in April. And this was called Your Lie in December, but because it was Shiwasu instead of Shigatsu with the old kanji, like it's made up of the text for like expert and running, which is why there was all those jokes of when he was running around and she was calling him a sensei. Like that's the kind of like triple layered pun comedy that I think is his bread and butter, but doesn't always translate well to English. And I think there was more of that than the weird like metaphysical concepts that occurred in Zetsubo Sensei or the fourth wall breaking of Joshiraku, which is why I think the comedy of this series was probably the weakest of all his works.
I got the word pun. I just didn't think. I just don't give it. I don't know. The word pun.
It's a different kind of pun. Like it's a different kind of humor than what we like in I think a lot of Western works.
Yeah, I mean, you hear that a lot with all kinds of things, not just anime, but all kinds of media that has comedy from Japan, and people say, "Oh, Japanese people love word puns. They love this," and like in Westerners, we just don't. We don't care. We don't do word puns are reserved.
I like word puns.
I mean, normally they're like on popsicle sticks and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
I didn't think it translated well in this show. I think it wasn't immediately grabbing. I'm like, oh, that's cute, but I wasn't like, wow, that was funny, or I wouldn't recommend the show as a comedy to people.
Gotcha.
I don't think it was the word puns. I think it was just I thought for a while it was going to be like a constant oh, Hime's going to find out that I'm a mangaka, so I have to dress up in a suit and put on a fake tie, or put on a tie, and but secretly I'm working on my manga. Those kind of jokes, or like try to like make it look like I have an office with assistants. it was getting a little silly at some points. I was like, it's not something that I could relate to, because I kept thinking in the back of my head, like, that kid's not gonna fucking know what you're doing.
I don't know. I liked that as just a backdrop arc. Like, I like the scene when Hime goes to him and asks him to help her draw something, and he's like torn between like his pride is
doing it too good.
Being a mangaka. Like, I should be able to draw and help my kid, but I can't draw too well, so she suspects something. And I don't know. It's unrealistic and unrelatable, but nonetheless interesting enough to carry that through line for the conversation.
I think some of my favorite comedy moments in the series were actually the manga assistants. I thought they were great, and I loved having them as side characters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it revolved around like just the manga industry in general. Like, I think one of my favorite moments for comedy wise is when they went to the big publisher dinner. It was like towards the end.
Yep.
And they're like, his editor can't come, because they're like, if you come, they're gonna think you're gonna try to recruit everybody here. But then he shows up incognito anyways and still tries to recruit people. And they find business cards, and they're like, we have to hunt him down. Where is he? It was really funny to me.
I like the manga people. I like how all of his systems were
them.
named after magazine phrases in Japanese, but I didn't like the editor, Tomaruin. He was so annoying.
Oh, he was kind of funny.
Like, no, he's the to the T, the character that makes life worse for people around him.
Oh no!
And I can't stand those characters. And I like to think it was a little tongue-in-cheek of Kumeta like writing about his editor, but he was terrible. I liked all the assistants. I didn't like the editor, and I didn't like how many like just weird like teachers or love interests just seemed to like pop out of nowhere. I think that was kind of a weird, not like a harem, but just a weird side component that I didn't really think needed to be there.
I don't really think I got harem vibes, but did you, Mandy?
No, I didn't. They were kind of interested in him, and I was afraid that there was going to be like an arc of like, oh, who's going to replace her mother? But I'm happy it never got to that point, though.
Yeah, it stayed just on the sidelines, so it wasn't too bad. But I was cautious about that.
Some of the adults in this are just kind of, I don't know, I guess, yeah, they're kind of dumb. I guess like we talked about the main character Kakushi, and it's like, who gives a shit if your daughter knows you do manga? Like that's the whole premise, right? And the premise itself doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I guess it makes for plenty of baked in scrambling, I have to hide everything moments, But at the same time, like I don't like it. Like I don't know how I feel about dishonesty as a source of humor. Like it almost to me it rings like you shouldn't hide things from people that are important to you. And so like I don't really think that what he has to hide is really worth hiding to begin with. And so it's like
yeah.
it's like, you know, it's almost like if a guy was cheating on his girlfriend, it's almost like, oh, the girlfriend comes home or the wife comes home and he's like scrambling to hide the girl, like, the editor's there and he's like scrambling to hide everything, and it's just like, dude, just be honest with your daughter. Like, I get that that's the source of the humor of the show, but it really didn't land very well.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think he had to tell her, oh, I do dirty comedy, but I don't think she's going to know or like have any expectations if you're just like, I draw manga. Look at my he can draw cute manga for her and she'll be happy.
Yeah, and I think there's a big component of the show where she just wants him to be happy. I think and wants him to be like respected and valued and stuff. And so like, I almost feel like she would be happy to see her father being revered by all these people, because people in the show do pop up and they're like, oh my god, are you the, what the hell was it called, tights. Are you the tights guy or whatever? And you know, he's like, shut the hell up or whatever. But you know, in reality, the little kid might be like, oh my god, my dad's so famous, it's so great. So like, I don't know, I almost feel like he's missing out on something good. You know, it's like
I was gonna say, there's even a part where he has like a signing and people are bringing their kids to have him sign manga for them, and I'm like, well, you're gonna sign manga for these kids? You're in a shonen magazine.
But he does question them. He's like, oh, what are you doing bringing your kid here? And the guy's like, oh, he loves tights. Like, and I think that's why the comedy works, is because we know that it's a unnecessary secret. And if like you said, Mitz, if the guy was, you know, cheating on his wife and hiding that, you're like, yeah, that guy's doing bad stuff. He should get caught. I can't wait for him to get found out. Whereas in this show, it's like, it's a pointless lie. So you feel safe participating in it because it's not hurting anyone, and you see the silliness of it all.
I don't know. I felt like towards the like some of the episodes at the end, which I thought were really I don't want to say beautiful, but kind of heartwarming, are the moments where when Hime is an adult and we see those glimpses of her future at the end of the episodes, where she recalls that her mother was collecting things for her in these boxes, and like there's this room that's filled with boxes of all of these things that were collected for her, and she's supposed to open them at certain ages, but this house was forgotten or not forgotten, I guess kind of abandoned because of just past pain in the family, where, you know, the mother died, and so the father has a really hard time dealing with it, but she is towards the, like, I guess in the future when she's an adult, she's going through the boxes and we see some items that we see in the anime when she's a child. But there's a moment where she does unveil that her father was a mangaka, and I'm starting to think, God, that would hurt. That you're so much older and you had no idea about your father's entire life. That would be really painful. Yeah. You're like, well, why didn't you tell me? I'm 18 now. God.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I just think I don't. It seems like a flaw in the relationship, or it's a character flaw. I mean, it's just not. I don't know. I don't look at it as like a cute, harmless thing. I look at it as a thing. I look at it as hiding things from your daughter that leads to possibly bigger things that you're hiding. So I don't know. It's whatever. But
yeah, I would say
I didn't like it.
Go ahead.
I'm making it too serious.
I would say the harmless part would be lying about drawing like porn. Because you're not gonna tell your kid not that he was drawing porn, but he was drawing like dirty jokes, which are like etchy. You don't have to tell her that part, but keeping your entire career from her seems really weird to me.
Well, if you told her you drew that, she would know you're drawing etchy. Like, it's a rolling stone of just, if she knows just a little bit, she'll know all of it. And he's ashamed. He's embarrassed by what he does. He's like, why would anyone come to see me? Why would anyone like it? Like, he's embarrassed intrinsically by what he does. So it's not that, it's drawing manga, she'll find out. It's like he doesn't have a great relationship with the manga he's drawing. And I think the show is very lighthearted, and this is not a sign of like him trying to hold back character flaws in the deep dive of this guy's discussion. No, it's just a light, jovial way to set up this relationship that is cute more than a deep character study. So I don't disagree with where you're coming from. I just think the show wasn't going for that character study.
Yeah,
So,
I could be making it too serious, I guess, but I
agree
probably
There's
to
some
disagree. How
still
good did
some there's still some super adorable like family moments though.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the best or one of my favorites was when Hime wanted to have a family meeting so bad, but you know, in an office they always have like the water cooler talk, but they don't have a water cooler at her house, so she brings him to a well. It was really adorable.
that's more typical of like Kumeta's typical kind of humor, where it's a discussion
Yeah.
that goes so far off the tracks that it goes into a discussion so far removed from where it began that makes you think. And I think that carries over really well, and that's what Zetsubo Sensei is like notorious at. So I love parts like that. Moving on a little bit to art and animation, I don't think there was a ton of animation, but I thought the show looked fantastic. I love the way that the waves looked. They look like a mix between like the Great Pretender color palette and like JoJo Clouds. Like that was, I could watch that all day. And there was like a running sequence at the end of the show with Hime and her friends when they're like going to the house to discover the boxes.
Mm.
And I think like Place Further Than the Universe, Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season, and now this show. Like anytime you got running sequences, I love them. They're so inspirational. And the music I thought was really good. Yukari Hashimoto did it, and she is the person who did like Sangatsu no Lion, Otsumatsu Song, Penguin Drum, Nozaki-kun, Toradora. Like she's done so much stuff, and I think all of those influences of depth and humor and weirdness and romance came together. So it sounded great. The ending, the ED of this was spectacular, absolute bop. If you don't watch the show, at least watch the ED. But I thought it was presented overall really cool.
Yeah, I think the art was really good. Of course, it is a slice of life, so it didn't need any kind of crazy sakuga or anything.
Yeah.
It's just a little comedy, family comedy. But yeah, no, I thought the color palette was really good. I think I just like this guy's character art in general. It gave me a lot of like eccentric vibe, kind of eccentric vibe, eccentric
family with an eccentric vibe. All his stuff
Yeah.
has this look. It's very cardboard cutout, but it just pops really well.
Yeah.
I like the backgrounds the most of the show. The backgrounds look great. I actually don't really care for how the characters look all that much. I think they look overly simplistic, and some of the characters have like enormous foreheads. I don't know, especially Hime has a huge forehead. I don't know what is going on with that, but
that's not unique to just her. All his characters kind of have 5 heads.
It's just more like 6 heads, or you know, Peyton Manning's got nothing. But I don't know. It was it looks good, but and actually it's weird. I actually don't mind how the characters look in terms of like the color. What is the word? The colorizing. The color palette. The color palette is good. I like it. It's soft. It looks very soft, and it's easy to look at. And I love pastel colors. And not that this show has a ton of pastels, but it's kind of soft to me in the same way that like a pastel, paint palette would be. I just don't like how like the characters' faces are done.
Characters look, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely feels like the same studio that did Yokohama Shopping Log, with that kind of washed out but still bright.
It's not off-putting though. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, I can't look at this. It's just a little odd. But all in all, I mean, I appreciate when things look a little different than the norm, and this isn't enough of that, I'd say.
Yeah, same.
So I think the last thing to briefly talk about is the ending.
Yeah.
If you want to talk on it.
Or we could also mention the dog's freaking bark.
Which is
Just a guy going woof woof. It's cracking me up, but it was also really weird.
Roku's amazing. And it changes too. When Roku gets older, it's like a different kind of bark. I don't know. It's great.
It was really weird. It was just like a guy. It wasn't like a dog bark. It was just like a guy going woof woof.
Yeah, it was great. I love it. But so essentially the first 11 episodes have a minute at the end of each episode, which is kind of leading to some mysterious event that happened. And the last episode is fully in the future, where essentially we find out that our main character eventually had to give up being a mangaka, started working, got injured on the job, and has been in a coma for multiple years. And during that
I think it was
time,
only 1 year. Didn't they
was it
only
just
say it was
one?
1 year?
I don't remember if it was one or a couple, but
I thought-
I'll believe you. Let's say one.
Yeah, I think he was in a coma for a year, but he's been out of business and like being a mangaka for a few years. I think.
Yeah, that might be it. And essentially during that time, Hime discovers what her father did, and he's been out of commission. And all of a sudden, he wakes back up and has no memories of the last 7 years of life, the typical amnesia thing. And essentially he just is like, oh, 7 years ago I was working on manga. So he just, from his hospital bed, continues to work on the manga, doesn't remember Hime because he remembers her as an 11-year-old, not 17 that she is now, and essentially just is that for a while. Eventually stuff happens. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty. They re-trigger his memory by her help with the manga, and it comes full circle, and he remembers everything, and they live happily ever after as they continue to search for the other mysteries that have kind of been dropped throughout the series that maybe we'll get in season 2 when Hime becomes a mangaka. Let's hope.
I did think it was kind of cute that she's been drawing manga the entire time, but didn't know that her father was a mangaka, and she's like just part of like the art club, and she was trying to hide it from him. I'm like, you guys are a weird family, but whatever makes you happy, I guess. I did hate I hate amnesia shit in anime. I don't know why anime always does this.
Yeah.
And memory loss doesn't work this way.
They even say like this kind of excuse would it even like fly in a manga?
Yeah, that was kind of funny too.
It was like, kind of funny, but
how
like
cliche.
they try to conclude 6 years and like all this mystery with like very cliche like events in one episode, and it was too little, so compressed, too late. Like, yes, it ended heartwarming and positively, but there was so many just anime moments that it didn't jive with the other settings. So I liked where it ended up, but I don't like how it got there. So that kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I get that too. Because like anime always does this thing where it's like when someone has memory loss, they forget everything. They're like, oh, I'm back to where I was 5 years ago. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. When you have memory loss, you know that you're missing memory. You just can't recall it.
But then someone just says, remember that time you gave me a dog? And he's like, oh, I remember everything.
Everything came back to me. It's funny.
It's like water got stuck in the air and they just needed to pop it out and everything is fixed.
It's silly.
So yeah, the ending was a little rough, but nonetheless, it was an experience. So are we good to score it?
I mean,
any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my problem with the ending is that the entire story is in the ending, or most of it. So I don't know. It's like I feel like it doesn't do much for me when the middle 8 episodes of the anime don't have to be watched for you to get the whole experience. So like that's how I feel about this anime. Like you could basically watch the first 3 and the last 3, or the first 3 and the last 1. I thought the ending was cute, but like it would have been nice to have it happen a little earlier, and then maybe there's some story of like how their lives progress when they both know that each other work on manga, and now they share like a special bond or something that they didn't have before. But we don't get to see any of that because they reveal he finds out, like they make the connection like in the last 5 minutes, and then you don't get anything. So it's very unsatisfying to me. Move it along a little bit more. I get that like they were drawing hard on the comedy around the whole scenario, but I have to believe that they could find ways to make the story continue with their lives even after, the secret was revealed. But a lot of anime do this. So
yeah, I think a lot of it is going to depend on how well you jive with slice of life in general, because I think the big the bigger I guess the brunt of it is whether or not you can like enjoy just their daily life and just this just day-to-day life, I guess. what they do with the experience with like creating manga and trying to take care of a child, which I think that's why I enjoyed those moments, but I also just like slice life in general.
Yeah, it's very much of what you're coming into this genre with an intent of.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but there is still that mystery because they reveal that his wife and her mother might still be out there because her body was never found. She went missing after, I think, a cruise ship sunk. Or did the cruise ship just go missing? I can't remember.
Phantom cruise ship.
Because they were sending divers who were listening to our podcast and they couldn't find it.
That's right. Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. Very nice.
If you could go down there, listen to our podcast, you might find, evidence that she escaped. I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
No, she has to be dead, right? There's no way.
What the hell cruise ship sinks?
Season 2, a little boat called the Titan. I don't know.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Do you guys realize how small the Titanic is compared to current day cruise ships? It's like it's like 10%, 10% the size. Yeah, it's like a yacht comparatively. Yeah. Yeah.
Are we ready to score this?
Oh yeah. I'm ready.
I can go first. I thought this was a very well put together show. The music, the visuals, and especially the voice acting were all phenomenal. The ending was a little rough. There's still a lot of mysteries left over, so it's like if you don't come to this for a plot, you get some nice slice of life, but there is a little bit of plot, and it's not all that rewarding, which is, I think, even more almost frustrating. I think at the end of the day, the biggest problem I had, though, was that I come to Kometa for this weird, obtuse comedy. And I felt like he had, like I said earlier, 1 foot in comedy, 1 foot in like family moments, 1 foot in like a little bit of a mystery, and none of like he spread his stats throughout them, but not one part of that was like so amazing that I was like, oh, this is a better family story than Sweetness and Lightning, or funnier than this comedy, or more of a mystery than this show. Like it just was kind of fine in all those things, so it made it very well rounded, but not exceptional. So I'm going to give the show 3 Rokus out of 5.
Wait, 3 6s? So
Yeah.
you're giving it an 18?
No. Yeah,
Oh.
3.
That's like 666 though, man. That's like the devil.
Yeah, so we're calling the beast.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Mason, 1 beast out of 5.
It's pretty harsh.
1 B star out of 5.
Yeah, overall, I thought it was really cute. There are definitely moments that I thought were weaker, especially the beginning was weak for me, and the ending was a little bit weak. But I still really enjoyed like the whole bonding, family bonding moment between a single father and his daughter, ignoring the whole kind of how silly it is to hide being a mangaka. But also, I get it. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are like that. Maybe not to the extreme in this anime, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are some mangaka who are like that. Yeah, overall, I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it looked good. The OP and the ED were good, and I would probably give it. I don't know. I don't know of a unit to give it. I'm trying to think. I think it'd be 3.5 manga business cards out of 5. That
Those things are dangerous. Those things are dangerous.
That part was really funny to me. I really liked that episode.
I respect the anime, but I didn't really enjoy it much. It's not a very bingeable show, and that's how I end up doing all these. So because it's very the same for a lot of it, and I can only watch the same joke so many times. Like there's just too many jokes that just repeat in a way. But I mean, despite that, there's an audience for the show, of course, and not everyone likes everything. But as someone who reviews anime, you kind of have to look at your own enjoyment of it and you take it into account. But then you kind of also have to look at like the quality of the show when viewed through the lens of the audience that it's intended for. And I just don't think it's as good as Sweetness and Lightning. Like I don't think it adds up to it. And I gave Sweetness and Lightning a 4. I went back and looked, like way back in the day, and this anime, I felt like the ending was like, in a way, it was the saving grace of the show for actually putting something concrete in terms of like the story in there that moved forward and was heartfelt. but at the same time, I was frustrated by the fact that I had to wait the entire anime to get it. And it's, you know, it is what it is. So at the end of the day, I feel like for me, this show lands fairly average, in an average way. So I'm going to give it 3 manga that keep falling on my head out of 5.
That was really silly too, where the thing that knocked him out was just manga. I was like, I saw a flash of my future though.
He was
That's what happened.
He was
If
scared of
there's-
manga the whole time. He knew it.
If there's ever an earthquake, I am doomed, guys. I'm gone.
Just don't read the manga. Just wait till the manga comes out. You don't have to cut the thing open to pull the manga out of the bottom corner of it. By the way, cutting that little slice out of that thing would not make that thing fall over. What the fuck? That's like, that thing must have been wrapped in like, usually it would be like saran wrapping almost, right? So, yeah, whatever. It's silly. That's it. Well,
He did it.
guys, we have reached the end of the podcast. So next week, we're going to be doing our fall 2020 anime picks, and it's, in my opinion, a little more of an exciting season than this current season that we're in.
Which will be on Wednesday. We will not be live. We won't have a live show on Sunday.
It won't be live, but we will be recording it a little early. So
Yes.
it'll still come out at the same time, I think, but but we're going to be recording it early. We're going to be reviewing listeners, so you know we'll see how that.
Boy.
No way!
Yes, we're going to do it. This is.
I tried so hard. You know, I just said I can't come on Sunday. Then Miss said, "Well, let's record on Wednesday," and I was like,
Aha!
Lung pop.
"I can't escape."
Aha! Aha! Yeah, I have not even started listeners yet, and man.
That's right, Chibi Rob. We are reviewing you, the listeners.
Oh, that would be more. That would probably be based on, you know, I'm terrified of watching this anime just off the synopsis. So it's okay.
Oh
so
my gosh, I kind of want to do an episode where we review our listeners. That'd be really funny.
Oh boy.
Someone should find the video clip of when Enzo passed listeners, and you can see like the whiplash in my neck because I'm like, wait,
Yep.
why?
So this was actually the last time. This was the last anime. Well, no, I guess technically Millionaire Detective, if you count that, was technically. Well, technically, I think Mandi passed that. So this is.
Millionaire was put on hold because of it was on held, the production on it was held until summer, so it's not technically the same season.
No, I mean, like I think that Listeners is the final anime we have on the list here that Enzo passed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, but we're gonna do Listeners. We're gonna pick our anime for the next season. So those are always my favorite episodes. I always look forward to, you know, diving into like what's coming up next, and it's always exciting. But guys, thanks for listening. Everybody who watched live on Twitch, everybody who listens at home, all of you that are scuba diving, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But you know what? If scuba diving is not enough entertainment for you, then it's the wrong hobby for you. But just don't get eaten by a shark or anything. And with that, the show is over. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for contributing to the podcast. Thank you so much for all of that. You can find us on social media. We are on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. If you want to catch all the action, come over to our Discord via our website. So the Discord is where you want to be. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Mitsugi. Guys, where can people find you?
I am Mandi X Mandi on Twitter, where I retweet Hunter x Hunter stuff and I post really poor drawings and ferrets.
That's right.
And you can find me at Macy Pacey, and I want to see some pumpkins.
Pumpkins! We'll see you guys next week.
Pumpkins.
Just make some pumpkins. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. After party!